everyone, welcome to my channel. And I don't know about you, but I'm already planning my bujo 2022, so hopefully I'm not the only one there. And well, as you can see earlier, I did my journal cover using just simple embossing. You can see how I do that to my other journals on a link. I'll link up above. Is there. So before that, I usually cover all my beloved journals using PVC covers like this. This is a cover I got from Daiso. It's actually for a B5 size, but I just got it for my A5 book because to me, the bigger it is, the more protected my book is. So yeah, that's how I will be working on this book for the rest of now till the end of 2022, because this is how my current 2021 bullet journal is. I cover it using PVC cover, also a bit larger than it is. Yeah, so let's get started, shall we? I'll probably just leave this one out for now. I don't want to risk ruining it too early. So this will be my cover page. I'll be outlining them using these 3 Sakura Micron markers, mainly because they're more easily available as compared to all those other, archival ink liners like Copic and everything. And honestly, the Micron Sakura brush pen is not exactly my favorite. I just find it very, very difficult to control. But I thought, well, I have 3 of them, so why not just challenge myself and try use it for this journal. I've chosen a color palette for my setup spreads, and this will be the 4 main ones. Of course, I'll be using some other colors, but I'll try to limit them to just these 4. So this is an example of a color that I've chosen outside my palette. I chose for this spread, just a cheap brush pen. And if you can see here, there's a trivia note that I added to this spread. Just a note to message that time is running out. Something that I'm a firm believer of. Something bad will happen to this world soon. So if you can see here, I actually did a mistake. I colored in one of the blue leaves. So my correction method is this water brush. And inside the water brush is not just plain water, it's your everyday laundry bleach. So here I'm just using a couple of unused paper to protect the page. And this is in real time, people. Just see how immediately the effect is. Of course, you need to dry it first. So yes, this trick will definitely thin out your paper, so when you color it, it will definitely bleed through. This paper is 100 GSM, so I believe the thicker it is, the safer your page will be. Of course, I could hide the bleeding using simple white gel pen, but for now, I will just use it to color in these flowers. So next is the key page. I always protect my pages even though I know it won't bleed through. It's a habit. I know the key to outlining is to start from whatever is on the front, but apparently it does not apply to this bunch of keys. So yeah, I actually did a mistake there. If you see it, you see it. I've been bullet journaling since back in 2016, so you can say that I've revised and analyzed which symbols to use for my keys, and these are by far what I've been using. And actually I added one more new one as compared to my current 2021, which is the public holiday. I contemplated and eventually drew a symbol of a flower, just a simple flower for public holiday. So this next page is not exactly popular amongst the bujo community online. It's basically your last wishes page, because I want that if I'm supposed to die sometime tomorrow, I want someone to take care of the things that needs to be managed, like for example my bank account, all those balance that need to be extracted and given to whoever that I want them to be given to. And that includes my last wishes, what I want my savings to be used for, to be donated, to be things like, for example, my art supplies. I have tons of them. At least I want them to be donated to people who actually use them, right? So yeah, I know this one may be a bit of a bad superstition for some people, but hey, every living thing in this world die one day, right? So I'm just preparing. So the next page, I decided to do the spread for highlights of 2022 because I thought it relates a bit to the previous page, right? I decided to color my whole 2022 bullet journal using just water-based markers, because previously, back in 2020, I did use watercolors, but I just do not like the feel of watercolors when I have to write a lot in the book, because even though I use watercolors that are of good quality, I still do not like the texture of it when I'm writing. And as for my current 2021 journal, the whole spread I actually designed using washi tapes, just washi tape. So for this 2022, I challenged myself coloring just using markers. So the next page is for my social media tracker, my Instagram, and of course this YouTube channel that you're watching on. I won't number in the goals right now. I'll probably do that later in the year, in December 2021, when I know where my respective accounts stand. The next page, I decided to do my YouTube checklist now that I have a channel. I don't know if this one page will be enough, because I do not know how many videos I'll be doing in one whole year, but well, let's see. Previously purchased this bunch of gel pen refills. They're rather cheap, you can find them online, and I always keep an empty barrel of pen that perfectly fits these refills, so that it's much comfortable to write with them. What I love about them is that most of these gel pens are opaque in colors, so they're good to write on, dark backgrounds. So my final spread for the setup is my future log for 2022. You may notice that I do not do those popular spreads in the bujo community, like the grid guide page, where you divide how many grid lines and everything, because I found a way which is much more flexible and much more easier to use, because I find those spread is like so troublesome where you have to flip back and forth. For me, I just created a simple cardboard grid ruler, which is much more portable and much more flexible. You can just line up your ruler with whatever page you're working on. I may use that in my future videos, so you can see how I use that. So I guess it's time now for a flip through and some close-ups. I do not like procrastinating, so that's why I do my setup for next year's bujo very early. In fact, my 2021 bullet journal I completed up till December 2021 back in October 2020. So yeah, I'm actually already drafting out my February spreads, and hopefully I'll be able to finish them very early before 2022 starts. That is if I live long enough, right? So I don't know, I probably will only upload the video for my January setup later in December this year or November, I don't know. You tell me, comment down below. So yeah, thank you if you're still watching till now. Really appreciate it. If you have some questions, just comment down below. Happy journaling, guys. Bye.